This week, President Donald J. Trump made headlines both at home and abroad. On May 12th, he signed 3 executive orders and 1 presidential proclamation. The first order focused on delivering most favored nation pricing for prescription drugs. It directs the Secretary of Health and Human Services and several federal agencies to ensure that Americans pay no more for medications than patients in other developed countries. This action amends a previous order, Executive Order 14,273 from April 15th, and involves coordination across the Departments of Commerce, Justice, and Health, the Federal Trade Commission, the U.S. Trade Representative, the FDA, and CMS. That same day, the President also signed a proclamation marking Peace Officers Memorial Day on May 15th and Police Week from May 11th to 17th. The proclamation honors law enforcement officers and calls for stronger protections, with oversight led by the Department of Justice. The second executive order, signed May 12th, directly affects U.S.-China trade policy. It suspends additional ad valorem duties on Chinese imports for 90 days, replacing them with a flat 10% duty. This policy shift amends Executive Orders 14,257, 14,259, and 14,266, and tasks agencies like the Departments of Commerce, Homeland Security, State, and Treasury, along with the U.S. Trade Representative, to oversee implementation. The President then departed for a high-profile tour of the Middle East, visiting Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. The trip produced over $2 trillion in agreements, ranging from arms and infrastructure to artificial intelligence. In Saudi Arabia, Trump secured a $600 billion investment pledge into the U.S. economy and finalized a $142 billion defense deal. In Qatar, he announced a $96 billion aircraft agreement with Boeing. The Qatari royal family also gifted a Boeing 747-8 aircraft, valued at $400 million, reportedly for use by Trump's presidential library. Finally, in Abu Dhabi, he unveiled plans to collaborate on a 5-gigawatt AI supercomputing center in partnership with U.S. tech firms like NVIDIA and Amazon. While these foreign policy moves unfolded, legal developments continued at home. This week, 18 lawsuits related to executive actions saw new developments. In GFF versus Trump, a federal judge in New York granted a preliminary injunction, ruling that Presidential Proclamation 10,903 likely violates the Alien Enemies Act. In a separate case in Pennsylvania, a court upheld the proclamation but required the government to provide advance notice before removal actions. Additional lawsuits challenged federal grant denials, IRS data sharing for immigration enforcement, and restrictions on collective bargaining. Notably, the American Bar Association won a preliminary injunction on First Amendment grounds in a lawsuit against the Department of Justice. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court ruled in WMM versus Trump that the government must give proper notice and due process before removing individuals under the Alien Enemies Act. From sweeping foreign investments to courtroom battles over civil liberties, this week marks a pivotal chapter in President Trump's agenda. This update was created by 47 POTUS and narrated by an automated voice. For full documents and case updates, open the app.